Aloha, good morning everyone. My name is Matt Gonzer. I serve as the city's Chief Resilience Officer and the Executive Director for the Mayor's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. We're very excited to be with you here today to talk about the adoption of the city's first ever climate adaptation strategy. We'll have a lot of speakers coming up to share reflections on the commitments that brought us to this moment and the commitments that we have to act on the work moving forward. As a bit of context, climate adaptation is about recognizing the impacts that our island community already faces today and taking the steps to prepare ourselves for those increasing risks into the future. We'll share a little bit more about the unique reason why we are here at a neighborhood park, Makalapa Neighborhood Park, because community members island-wide are also looking for opportunities to partner and to drive implementation of their solutions, one of which is increasing temperatures and more severe heat. So as I mentioned, we'll have a long list of speakers. First, we'll hear from Mayor Rick Blangiardi. Then we'll hear from City Council Chair Tommy Waters, followed by Alex Yee, the Coastal and Water Program Manager for my office and the project lead. Then we will hear from Councilwoman Radiant Cordero. We are in her district here today. Followed up by Dan Donnell, the president for Trees for Honolulu's Future, to talk about the exciting partnerships that we will be continuing work on in the next month right here at this park. And as again, a reminder, so Climate Ready Oʻahu is the city's first ever climate adaptation strategy, just adopted yesterday. There's a lot of work that's already underway, and we're very excited to continue to implement on the strategy moving forward. So with that, my boss, Mayor Rick Blangiardi.
Thanks, man. I'm really impressed you have the whole program memorized. That tells you how smart a guy he is. Good morning, everyone. You know, our administration has taken some real pride in problem solving. I mean, that's been sort of our mantra internally as a team, is let's look at the tough problems and let's do something about that, as challenging as they may be. Well, this problem started before us and is going to be around after us. And the best thing we can do in the process and in the meantime, while we're in office, is to fight like hell and do everything we possibly can against the challenges we face as climate change. So when we came in initially, and it really had a lot to do with our hiring of Matt to be our director, we wanted to shift from a policy-making body to adaptation. So this Climate Ready Oʻahu, this plan here, has been a couple of years really in the making. But it's our strategy, our belief, our efforts going forward, our roadmap of execution here to begin actually doing very impactful things to the best of our ability as we fight this unprecedented challenge. It's where we are at this moment in time in the world. It's our obligation. We take it most seriously. I know there's a lot of controversy and people have different feelings about climate change. As island dwellers, believe me, I am more than a believer. So for the time that we're going to be in office, you can count on us, not only with this plan, but our team and everybody else doing as much as we possibly can for the sake of our island, especially for the sake of future generations. So with that, I'm going to introduce our chair of the council, Tommy Waters. It's always fun for me to introduce him. Come on up here, Tom.
Mahalo, Mr. Mayor. And I'm happy to report that yesterday, the Honolulu City Council passed 9-0 Resolution 24-16, which adopts the Climate Ready Plan for Oʻahu. We adopted this unanimously because we recognize that climate change is real. We have hotter summers, less trade winds, erosion of our beaches and our ecosystems, and we must take action. And I have to thank the mayor and Matt Gonzer and all of his staff for the hard work that they've done in creating this Climate Ready Oʻahu plan. But this is what government is all about. That's why we're here. And again, we have to put our money where our mouth is. And part of that is educating people that we need to spend money and deal with this problem today. Today. Because the future is not going to be bright if we don't deal with climate change. So I want to thank the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability and Resiliency and everybody here for doing the hard work and doing the planning. And now it's up to us, the council and the administration, to follow the plan and get it done. So thank you again to the mayor. Thank you to Matt Gonzer, and look forward to working with you on actually putting this into action. So thank you.
Aloha. My name is Alex E, and I had the pleasure of working with an amazing team and an amazing community to put together Climate Ready Oʻahu. At its heart, climate adaptation is about understanding what climate impacts are going to look like here on Oahu and figuring out ways to be prepared for them. And this is our effort to boil down an incredibly complex issue of climate change and climate impacts into something that everyone can understand. What we've done is we've organized a bunch of strategies and actions into 3 vision parts. That's prepared and empowered people, safeguarded and stewarded Aina, and safe and reliable infrastructure. It's responsive to 5 climate hazards: sea level rise, heat, drought and wildfire, hurricanes, and flash flooding. And this is really a community-driven effort. So a huge mahalo to everybody from the community that came out to our workshops, that provided comments on this draft, that participated in our community advisory hui. Really, what we're most proud of is that this articulates a vision for how the entire community, not just the city alone, has a role to play in climate adaptation and outlines actions and strategies of what we all can do. One of the most important things for us is really articulating that this is about adapting together to local impacts. So the thing about climate change is that it's a global issue with local impacts. The things that we can do to adapt to those impacts are going to be place-based, they're going to be community-based, and so the solutions need to be community-grounded. The thing about climate change is that the impacts are not going to be evenly distributed, and they're not going to be equally felt. So certain parts of the island will see some impacts more than others, and even within the same neighborhood, 2 families might feel and respond to those impacts differently based on their circumstances. And so centering climate equity is a huge priority from this project. We've built in designing for equity sections to all of our strategies to make sure that that's an essential component of this strategy. And lastly, this is also something that we're eager to get started on implementing. As Council Chair Waters said, we're super happy to be able to start implementing one of the actions right away, which is our Climate Champions program. Last month we announced that we received a $1 million grant from the US EPA to fund this Climate Champions program for 3 years. And we're working with 6 community-based organizations, including one that you'll hear from later today, to implement climate adaptation strategies across the island. So with that, thank you to everybody again who participated and contributed to this strategy, and we look forward to implementing it.
Aloha kakahiaka, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. When thinking about climate change and the existential threats that it poses not just to our island community but to the entire planet, it can be a bit daunting and a bit overwhelming. And one of the many beautiful things about this document and the work that the Office of Climate Change and the entire city has done in this document is really give us hope and give us guidance on how to deal with the many issues that are going to be facing us now and into the future. And particularly with parks, we like detailed issues and we like where the rubber meets the road and taking action against things like this to make it better parks for us now and into the future. Things such as planting trees like the monkey pod that you see behind me here. With the help from our Division of Urban Forestry, before even we get to the ceremonial planting, there was so much work that went into getting this tree into the ground. Our maintenance staff put new irrigation lines to make sure that we can water this tree and take advantage of all of the many benefits that it will give us now and into the future. Our Division of Urban Forestry staff picked the right tree, planted it at the right place at the right time. And now we're going to be placing mulch here today to mark it so that the community can go ahead and continue watering it, continue nourishing it, so that we can get the many benefits from the tree that we will have now and into the future. For every $1 that we put into tree planting, we get $3 in return from the many benefits, whether that's cooling, carbon sequestration, oxygen generation, stormwater runoff mitigation. You cannot understate the benefits that planting trees has on our parks. But more important than actually getting these trees in the ground is getting the community involved as well too, nurturing those relationships. Because when you have those grassroots initiatives that the community can be involved in, it is truly more successful and truly has a better sense of place and a better sense of ownership amongst the people who are involved in that. So I really want to thank the City Council for connecting us to the many organizations and the communities that will be involved in implementing these strategies. And in particular, I want to thank Councilmember Cordero, who represents the constituents in this area, for connecting us with the community around Makalapa Neighborhood Park here. They will be helping us with the watering of this young tree. They will be helping us with the 4 Milo trees that we'll be planting right where you're standing here today and next month. And she also allocated $700,000 for future tree plantings that we'll be doing around the island in the coming months. So with that, I'd like to welcome up Councilmember Cordero.
Aloha everyone. My name is Radian Cordero and I'm proud to represent the communities from Aiea to Kapalama. And I would first and foremost like to welcome you to Halawa. We are here at Makalapa Neighborhood Park, and it is a park that is near and dear to my heart, and a place where I see such high potential with high potential neighbors as well. I know that there was a lot of talk about how climate will impact our communities, and that's why I'm really proud to see in our Climate Ready Oʻahu plan here the empowered and prepared people. That is something that we must not forget as policymakers at the City Council level and those implementing at the City Administration level, to remember that those at the root of the costs of climate impact are our neighbors. Those who live right next to a stream that are impacted by drainage issues, those who are impacted by lack of trees, such as a park like this, who tested really hot in the heat island map index, or those social services that are providing really great services here to a lot of the high potential areas. And a lot of the time, many of the times we would see these as risks or obstacles, but that is not what we want to do as a community as we prepare for climate and as we prepare our neighbors. What we should do is to better prepare our neighbors and better work with our neighbors. So that's why I'm so proud to see many of my neighbors here from Aiea, from Halawa, from our social services, from National Park Services. And I don't know if they want to come and join me and stand by me right now here, because they are the real people who are going to make sure that we address climate change and the impact, in addition to partnering with our Department of Parks and Recreation and our city administration as well. One major thing, as Nate mentioned, is that we appropriated $700,000 for tree planting. It's not just in my district that's impacted by the heat and the lack of trees. From urban Honolulu to Ewa, there's a need for tree planting, but also more climate mitigation. Climate mitigation can also be through connecting our communities, and that's what this plan shares. How can we connect these communities to be one community? We are here in Halawa. However, the lack of connectivity that we have from here in Makalapa to Upper Halawa is sorely needed. And connecting these communities are also a major part of making sure that our communities are better resilient as well. And so I really want to thank the city administration and the city as well as the city council leadership for being able to implement these policies to ensure that we on Oahu are climate ready. And I also want to thank my neighbors here in Halawa, Makalapa, as well as the many social services here that love this park for the work that they've been doing. I just want to highlight that we've not only been trying to make sure that this park gets a little more love, but also that the programs that we provide are there to connect our communities. And that's how we can make sure we get empowered and prepared people like is slated here in the Climate Ready Oʻahu plan. And so with that, I would like to kick it over to Dan Donnell, who is also a partner with us for Trees for Honolulu's Future.
With a booming voice, so thank you for inviting us here today. Trees for Honolulu's Future is a connecting organization, and we got involved with the issue of climate and trees, specifically because of a real problem, which is the decline of the urban tree canopy. So we're really happy to see things changing here, changing in the future because of this wonderful document that's going to guide us into action. We're also really concerned with heat. That's a bad trend. It's affecting people's health. It's affecting our environment. And with the support of the EPA, we were able to instigate a climate change activities here and at Aiea Elementary School. And I have to give all the credit to Councilmember Cordero, who invited us into this community for this action. And that has been a game changer. The things happening today are a direct line from that EPA grant, and we're really pleased because we're able to continue it on now with the city's Climate Champions program. I want to say mahalo to the Department of Parks and Recreation. They've been a great partner in making things happen here. Also, Smart Trees Pacific, Honolulu Community College, partners of ours in the Heat Island Investigators, and then PACT and Jordan Wave, yep, come on. Parents and children together, working. Also, Olivia Poblacion, our coordinator on this project. And the most important person, no offense to the mayor, isn't here. And that's Noah Kindaro. He's a 10-year-old boy who lives in Pu'uvai Momi Public Housing. And he got involved, and then he took action. He testified at the City Council and told his story and the impact that climate change is having to him and his friends. That's why we're in this work. And I really thank Noah. He's in school, correctly so, today. And we're excited because we're going to be able to continue our work with Climate Champions. I want to close with a line I want you all to remember. Honolulu is hot, trees are cool. We'll be back here at the end of March to plant more trees. Thank you. And back to Matt.
A big mahalo to all of our speakers here today. You can clearly see how much of a kākou effort climate adaptation is and must be.